think I'm in love. So good. Welcome back to another video on the EF XR6 turbo project. And there's so much going on, I don't know where to put my eyes. Ollie is over here, he's in charge of all the wiring because I'm incompetent. So Ollie, what are you doing there?
Making a bracket.
Making a bracket for one of the fuse boxes, the main fuse box, which used to be here, but since we're making it look pretty, we want to get it out of the way, but it'll still be accessible. And then on this side, I ribbed another the hole for this fuse box here. Don't know what that fuse box is for, but Ollie told me to do it. And he was the one that took all the wiring apart, so I'm assuming that he knows what he's doing, but that's okay. And over here, we have Luca. Luca is back from Tassie to help me do the exhaust, and he's also modifying a little bit of the cooler piping as well, because we had some issues with that.
It's not pretty, but it should work. Just
well,
to bead.
You won't be able to see it anyway. In one of the previous videos, I bought this 90-degree elbow from Aeroflow, and Luca welded onto the snout of the turbo. So now, it's just this tiny little pipe that needs to go from here to here, just like that. And that's the intercooler piping done. Time for the exciting stuff. It's been a very long time since this car's seen an exhaust. And yesterday, Luke and I went on a trip and we bought all of this pipe. If you guys are wondering, we're doing a 3-inch all the way. So it's a 3-inch dump down to a flexi. Then it's going into a cap and one muffler. So the reason why I went 3-inch is because I'm using a genuine Ford rehousing. And there's only two options of dumps that you can do. There's either an off-the-shelf dump, which they're expensive and they're not guaranteed to fit, and also a Aeroflow 5-bolt to V-band 3-inch adapter. So that's what it looks like. And I figured for the power goal that I'm going for, which is 300 maximum 400 kilowatts, and that's with a built motor. This motor can't even handle 400 kilowatts, but this will be more than enough, a 3-inch exhaust, and it'll sound very crispy and raspy as well, which is what I want. I've employed Luca, flown him down, and he's going to make the whole exhaust for me because I'm incompetent, and I just want to expedite the process. So he knows what he's doing. This is a very long, painstaking, tedious process, but now the manifold is basically completely done. We're going to get onto the dump pipe. So this is what it looks like. This is, for anyone that's doing this at home, the pipe that we're using, we got from Sterling Steel in Hallam. If you're in Melbourne, Victoria, it's a Schedule 10 60.3 millimeter outer diameter pipe. So you want to make sure it's a thick wall because the manifold itself is a thick wall. If you use thin wall, the vibrations will probably end up cracking it or even heat cycling it as well, most likely crack it. There is still a chance of this cracking because we didn't back purge it. We don't really have the correct equipment here, but there's a much lower chance of that happening. It's a pretty simple setup here now. So the screamer pipe's gonna go, sorry, not the screamer pipe. I'm not running a screamer, the EPA is watching. The screamer pipe is gonna run straight down from there, past the in between the tower and the rack and the steering shaft, and then the dump is gonna go through here. Now the problem we're facing is obviously this has a clutch cable, so I'll need to insulate the shit out of it so it doesn't melt.
So first of all, we'll try to bring the dump pipe in line with the motor. We'll most likely put one pie cut here, and then we can then start to send the dump pipe straight down next to the gearbox. We'll cut this 19.5, well, at this angle, probably add a pie here, and then that angle should be a similar angle to the firewall and pretty much be in line where we need it.
Yeah, because if we grab this pipe here and shove it straight in, it's not going to exactly be on the angle that we want. So we're gonna have to angle it like this sort of to pull it away from the motor. We're gonna have to add a pie at the very start of the pipe. I feel like Luca is making too much good progress and he's too good. So I fired him and I'm gonna do it myself now. Luca, you've been fired.
Okay.
I'll show you guys what Luca did before with the downpipe, but this is basically the section where it goes down underneath the car. So we got downpipe, then a flexi, into some homemade pie cuts, and then into a 100-cell cat. Yeah, after that, we're gonna start making the rest of the exhaust, but I'm gonna have a go welding. I'm not the best, but since this is a section you can't see, I figured I may as well have a go because there's only one way to learn, right? I've tried pulse welding for the first time and I think I'm in love. It's so good. It's much better. These are all Luca's. This little bit next to my finger is mine. but it's so good when there's no gap in between the pipes. Pulse welding is way better than using filler. Don't you reckon?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Luke has been busy over the past couple of days, just finalizing the exhaust. It's not fully finished yet. Still got to do the tips and stuff like that. I haven't decided what tip I want to go for. But if you guys saw my story a couple nights ago, you would have seen that I might be doing something along those lines. But here is basically the final form of the exhaust. So Luke is very tired right now. It's quite hot. Don't worry guys, I did pay Luca. There's no free labor here. So yeah, he did a fantastic job on the exhaust. But we're going to start from the very start of the car. So you saw earlier in the video, Luca welded on that 90-degree elbow. So that's now not going to pop off, and it's not really too close to the manifold either. So over here, schedule 10 pipe off the manifold, which is for the wastegate, and then the screwing pipe's just chilling over there, but it's gonna go straight down. Then we got our 5-bolt to V-band 3-inch adapter down to a 3-inch down pipe. It's gonna be out of the way of the clutch cable, which is good. So the reason why Luca put the flexi here, and it's very smart thinking, is that this car with its new 17-inch wheels is gonna be very low. So if I'm going to be scraping the exhaust, you don't really want to scrape the flexi because you can easily scrape a hole into it. He tucked up right up against the firewall where it goes down, and it does its job very well. We tested it. Got our 100 cell cat here, which is just a massive straight pipe to the rear muffler, kind of like the stock exhaust. The factory hanger was retained. It's going, this is where it starts to go over the livery, and then that's the livery section. Overall, I'm very impressed, and thank you very much to Luca. He did a fantastic job. My mate Rex, he obviously has a barra swapped EF. He had to redo the exhaust twice over the livery. We didn't want to do that again because once Luca leaves, it's up to me to fix the exhaust. And although I can weld a little bit, I'm not the best. And so what we did off camera is we actually removed the springs and the shocks, and we jacked the rear up all the way until the diff hit the bump stop on the body. And what we found is there's heaps of clearance. There's probably 3 or 4 inches of clearance between the pipe and the actual diff housing. Another thing that I did off camera, because it was unrelated to the exhaust, Luca, by some miracle, managed to order the right adapters. He was going to put them on his car. He's still undecided whether he's going to take them back to Tassie with him or not, but the injectors are in. So these are the 1250cc injectors. And then I also reinstalled a water pump that was stolen off me to go on Peter's car. Whilst Luca was doing the exhaust, I was just buttoning up a few loose ends. After this, need to do the fuel pump in the boot. Need to put the battery in the boot, do the wiring, and then there's not really any reason why this thing shouldn't run. This video unfortunately was a little bit too short for my liking, but there's obviously more videos coming and it's only going to get better. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.